The NFL season is here. We are in full swing of football. Games starting in a couple of days with the Eagles and Cowboys, and you got the Chargers and Chiefs for Friday night. Full in it. I'm so happy. But you see the title and thumbnail. You see everything. The NFL Power Rankings is also here. Let's get into it for week 1. Starting off with the number 10 team. If you do not know how power rankings work, 1 being the best, number 10 being the 10th best in the whole entire league out of 32 teams. But the number 10 team will be the Minnesota Vikings. And honestly, I think it's an appropriate spot for them. You can have them higher, you can have them lower. I would not argue with you at all. But we can all agree that this team collectively is a very good unit. They had a lot of transactions during this offseason by adding a lot of offensive line. They also got Ryan Kelly. They got Will Fries. They drafted Donovan Jackson. Their main weakness last year was, you could say there was their offensive line, and they definitely addressed it like I just mentioned. And we already know this offensive unit itself, it has a lot of great weapons like in Justin Jefferson. They got Jalen Nair. They got Jordan Addison. They got Aaron Jones. They got Jordan Mason as a backup running back. TJ Hawkinson. You can name all of these great weapons on this offensive side. But the biggest question mark is definitely the quarterback. We all know that JJ McCarthy was hurt last year in the preseason, and of course he was out for literally the whole entire season until now. So at least he has a year of learning the playbook, learning the facility and all that. So I think he won't be that bad of a quarterback. And it really helps that he has a good O-line. He has great weapons. His team on defense is even good. They added Jonathan Allen. Like, this defense is a pretty good unit too. So like I said, this Vikings overall team is very good. But one of the biggest question marks is definitely JJ McCarthy. But I do think that Kevin O'Connell will transition him into at least an above average quarterback. He was pretty good in Michigan, but again, being out for a whole year, that is going to hurt a little bit, but I think this team will be a good team this year. I mean, last year they were a 14-3 team. Now, will they get 14 wins this year? I don't think so, but I do think they will end up snagging the playoffs. If you did not see my predictions videos for each division, go check those out after this video. But yeah, the Vikings are number 10. The number 9 team in my power rankings, coming from the AFC West, will be the Denver Broncos. Broncos just snuck in the playoffs last year as a number 7 seed, and last year, a lot of people didn't really expect them to be a really good team at all. Like, they projected like a 6 or 7 win team, but like I said, they just made the playoffs. And this year, the changes have happened. And honestly, a lot of people are saying they might even win a division even over the Chiefs. We'll see about that. But yeah, this team definitely has changed, the perspective of a lot of people. They added a lot of pieces to this team. They got Dre Greenlaw. They got Evan Ingram. They got Talanoa Hufanga. They also got J.K. Dobbins as a backup running back. And this defense was already good last year, like a top 10 unit. And now they got Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga from the 49ers. And they also drafted Jahdae Barron. This cornerback and this whole defensive room, period, is so scary. I do expect Bo Nix to have a bounce back year this year. Well, not a bounce back year, but definitely an improvement over last year. His rookie season started off slow, but ended up picking up steam in the second half. You got RJ Harvey, they also drafted, who they also really like as, running back. Nice little quarterback room. Their offensive line is a little bit questionable, but with wide receivers with Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, and Troy Franklin, they have nice little weapons there. And like I said earlier in the video, this defense is a top 10 unit guaranteed, maybe even a top 5 unit of the whole entire NFL. We will see. But as of right now, I do like the Denver Broncos a lot, but I just have them as a number 9 team right now. The number 8 team in this power rankings, the only team in their division as in the top 10, will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we all know they had a top 5 overall offensive unit. Baker Mayfield just completely played out of his mind with Chris Godwin. They also got Mike Evans. Of course, he's guaranteed to get 1,000 yards this year. But they also drafted Emeka Egbuka. Bucky Irvin ended up being a breakout running back. So this Buccaneers offense has weapons all over the place. But the only question mark I have is the offensive line. Now, Tristan Wirth is a great offensive lineman, but he's probably going to be out for the first couple of weeks. We'll see what's going on with him there. He was not on the PUP list, but this offense is insane. The defense is really not that bad either. They ended up re-signing Levante David, he's going to retire as a Buccaneer for sure, but they also brought in Hassan Reddick. But other than that, the defense has Antoine Winfield. They have a couple of nice pieces, of course, Vita Vea is a little questionable in the secondary. Again, we can see throughout the season how it's really going to happen. They got some nice players on defense. They got really nice players. Well, a lot of really nice players on offense. But I think number 8 is the perfect slot for them. Let's go to number 17. The number 7 team this year that actually beat the Buccaneers last year in the playoffs will be the Washington Commanders. Now, nobody expected this team to even make the playoffs last year. They went all the way to the NFC Championship and losing quite a bit against the Eagles, but the Eagles were a complete different team, you know, on a whole nother planet of everybody else. But this Commanders team, I mean, you really can't say they downgraded this year. They traded for Deebo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil, and now Laramie Tunsil, of course, came from the Texans, a really good offensive lineman right there. And Deebo Samuel, you know, he had his ups and downs the last couple of years in San Francisco, but I think he could be a really solid number 2 wide receiver behind Terry McLaurin. Of course, we all know Jaden Daniels had a Rookie of the Year, Rookie of the Year award winner last year, and he's going to get better. I mean, I could see him getting a little bit worse because, of course, the sophomore slump, as they call it, but this team is just overall good. Now, the offense, I think, is going to be really good. They improved the offensive line, but their defense, they're not bad. They got Von Miller, they got Bobby Wagner, they got Marshawn Lattimore. This team is just old, so I feel like they're in win now mode, even though Jaden Daniels is only into his 2nd year. You know, he's got another few years until he signs his contract extension, but this team is the oldest in the league. They're definitely a Super Bowl caliber team, at least in my opinion. Well, maybe not Super Bowl caliber, but definitely playoff threat for sure. But as of right now, I love what they did during the offseason. I think Jaden Daniels will have a breakout year this year again. Number 17. The number 6 team in this division, or in this power rankings, the 2nd team in this division, and you can kind of give me a lot of slack here, or, you know, roast me in the comments, the Detroit Lions. I know. You're probably going to, you know, roast me in the comments, and that's fine, but I like the Lions as the number 6 team, and of course, we already know what I'm going to say. Losing the coordinators is a huge deal. I do think their offense will be fine with Jared Goff. Of course, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. This team is loaded with weapons. Sam Laporta. Offensive line definitely took a hit. Losing Frank Ragnow for the offensive line, the center, is a huge deal, and they lost a couple other small pieces on offensive line. And this unit was a top 3 unit last year. They're still a top 10 unit offensive line, but that's a big change right there. And we all know the defense has a lot of good playmakers. They added DJ Reed. They'll be getting back Aiden Hutchinson. So I think this defense will be a good unit, but the defensive coordinator, we got to see how he's going to react to the offense. You know, I think it will take them maybe 3 or 4 weeks to fully get into it, and then I think the defensive coordinator will be completely fine. I don't see any issues with the offensive side at all, but the number 6, I really like the spot for the Lions. Again, they didn't really make a lot of transactions. I do really like Isa Texas, you know, or Tesla, however you say his last name, as a number 3 wide receiver. But again, this defense, oh my goodness, this defense will be good. The offensive will be good. I just got to see what the coordinators are going to do. Lions number 6. And here's where you can roast me, or maybe why I was saying you can roast me. My Green Bay Packers are the number 5 team. You already know Micah Parsons obviously jumped everybody's predictions with the Packers. They went from fringe playoff team to now a Super Bowl caliber team. You can say whatever you want about Micah Parsons and the drama he has over there, and he's not a good run defender, like whatever. But this offense definitely got better, adding Matthew Golden in the first round of the draft last year. He's been playing great in camp so far, and I mean, he's definitely our number 1 wide receiver right now. And the offensive line got better. It looks like Jordan Morgan has definitely improved over time in camp. This offense with Josh Jacobs, I mean, this offense is really a top 5 unit. The cornerbacks do definitely question me. They question a little bit because of Nate Hobbs. He's had some injury issues lately. Carrington Valentine. Of course, you know, we got Bo Melton out there, Keyshawn Nixon. Like, the cornerback room is definitely a big question mark, but I love the safeties. I love the linebackers. I really love the defensive line now, and it sucks that Kenny Clark is gone, but I love Micah Parsons. I love the contract extension. This team absolutely deserves to be number 5. The number 4 team in this NFL Power Rankings Week 1 edition will be the Buffalo Bills. They really weren't too active this offseason. They did get Joey Bosa from the Los Angeles Chargers, but this team, I mean, you guys already know, they already went to the championship last year. They barely lost against the Chiefs, and Josh Allen, of course, was the MVP last year. They got the running back, James Cook, a very good running back. This team, as long as they stay healthy and they can finally, hopefully, beat the Chiefs, they'll be higher than the Chiefs in the power rankings. But the Bills, like I said, they didn't do too much this offseason. We all know Josh Allen's the great quarterback. This team will be great again. They got an easy division. They're number 4. Let's talk about number 3. The number 3 team, like I just mentioned a couple of seconds ago, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, losing Rashee Rice will definitely hurt. He's going to be out for the first 6 games. But when you have Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback, you kind of really don't need Rashee Rice. I mean, of course, he's a great wide receiver, but it is what it is. Patrick Mahomes can do anything. Of course, you got Travis Kelce as your tight end. He looks a lot better physically, and hopefully he plays a lot better too, because last year was not that good. But you also got Xavier Worthy. You got Jalen Royals. You brought back Hollywood Brown. This wide receiver room is actually not too bad at all. The offensive line should be a lot better because, you know, they got destroyed in the Eagles game. But definitely drafting Josh Simmons will improve the offensive line a lot. And their defense, as long as you have Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie, you'll be all right. But the Chiefs, they definitely don't deserve to be any lower than 5. If you have them lower than 5, you're on whatever. But Chiefs number 3. The number 2 team in this power rankings, you probably already know because if you did this basic eliminations of the other teams, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, when you think about the Ravens, you think about their offense with Lamar Jackson. You got Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. They just added DeAndre Hopkins, which he might be out of his prime, but definitely a solid number 2 wide receiver. They also got Isaiah Likely and washed up Mark Andrews. This offense is just loaded. Lamar Jackson will be a top 3 quarterback this year. Derrick Henry, a top 3 running back. You got Zay Flowers, who could be a top 15 wide receiver. Their offensive line is probably a top 7 unit in the whole entire NFL. They absolutely deserve to be a top 2 team in the league just because of their offense. And the Ravens probably have one of the best secondaries in the NFL with Marlon Humphrey. They got Nate Wiggins, of course, Kyle Hamilton, who just signed that massive extension. They also got Jair Alexander, who's been banged up so far, which does not shock me. But this secondary, oh my goodness, they are definitely a no-fly zone. But the only reason why they are my number 2 team is because the number 1 team just won the Super Bowl, and that will be the Philadelphia Eagles. If you do not have the Eagles as your number 1 power ranking team, you're probably just a really salty Cowboys fan. This offense didn't really change much. They did lose Kellen Moore this offseason. He went to the New Orleans Saints as a head coaching job. But when you have Saquon Barkley, you have Jalen Hurts, you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, this offense doesn't need an offensive coordinator, honestly. Their offensive line is definitely a top 3 unit. Their offensive line feels like it's always good, which is kind of sad. As a Packer fan, I wish they're over the Packers. But anyways, this offense, I'm not really concerned about it at all. Their defense, though, I am just a little bit. Now, they do have Cooper DeJean. They got Jordan Davis. You got, of course, Zach Bond. They got some really nice pieces on this defense. It's just the players they lost is kind of a big deal, like Milton Williams. They lost Darius Slay. I don't think they lost their defensive coordinator, but their defense, again, they'll be good, but they're not going to be nowhere near as good as last year, at least in my opinion. I think their offense will be really good, but when you win the Super Bowl, it's really hard to not really put them as the number 1 team to start off the year. Again, unless you're a salty in division fan. But that wraps up this video. If you do like it, hit that like button, comment down below your biggest reaction. Just please tell me. I know you guys don't agree with me 100%, but I'm out of here. Deuces.